Hi class, welcome again for another lecture in our Meremy course, which is entitled Parts of a Thesis Proposal. So let's get started. So today we will be discussing the parts of a thesis proposal. And as an outline of our presentation, we will be discussing the 4 main chapters of your thesis proposal. Then later on, I will just summarize what we have discussed. So to start off, let's look at the parts of your chapter 1, which is your introduction. First, we need to write a background of the study. The background of the study is a collective information about a specific topic. For example, if you have chosen a research on wind energy, you may want to research on the statistics of the production of energy using wind power or wind turbines. Those informations are now gathered and are all placed in your background of the study. Next on the list is the statement of the problem. Once we already have identified a specific problem, we have to come up with a subchapter discussing the specific problem that we want to tackle or investigate in this research. Next, the significance of the study somehow highlights the benefits of your research. Who would benefit in your research if you are able to deliver the objectives? What would be the impact if you are able to come up with this design, or if you are able to deliver all of the objectives? Next, the objectives of the study can be broken down into 2 parts, your general objectives and your specific objectives. Lastly, you have your scope and limitations of the study. Under the scope and limitation, you would now identify the limitation of the study and identify what would not be included in your research. Once you already have your chapter 1, we now go to chapter 2. Your chapter 2 would be your literature review. The literature review is a summary of previous research on a specific topic. It is synthesized in a way that the readers are guided on what has been done previously in a specific field. It surveys the published scholarly articles, books, and other sources relevant to a particular research area. The literature review aids in the identification of research gaps or controversies in a specific field, leading to topics needing further research. The collection of the information about a specific topic is very important for us to establish what has already been done on a specific research. Once we already have established that, we can now see some of the research gaps on that specific field. Now, once we already have a feel or a map of that research area, we can specifically position our research or our thesis targeting in addressing those specific research gaps. Chapter 3 would be theoretical or conceptual framework. Let's discuss first the theoretical framework. The theoretical framework highlights the understanding of theories and concepts in a specific study of interest, and that explains why the research problem under study exists. It is a review of the theories and analytical models relevant to the research problems. It includes discussion of equations and definition of parameters and factors used in a study. Now let's define conceptual framework. The conceptual framework is a researcher's interpretation of how a particular factor or variable relate to his research problem. It sets the stage for the presentation of the problem statement, which drives the investigation and presentation of results. It is the researcher's map in conducting the investigation. So for chapter 3, we have options if we would go for a theoretical framework or a conceptual framework. But most likely than that, for undergrad thesis, most of the students would prefer the theoretical framework. For conceptual framework, this is somehow widely used by graduate students wherein they are developing a system or a model which they want to propose or implement. However, undergrad students is also encouraged to use conceptual framework, especially in describing how they would actually do their research. Next, let's discuss the methodology, which is chapter 4. The research methodology is a systematic process in investigating the problem statement. It highlights the methods applied in the study and the rationale for the application of the procedure or technique. The methodology answers two main questions: how data was collected or generated, and how data was analyzed. The methodology is connected to the objectives of the study found in the introduction. So there is a connection from your chapter 1 to your chapter 4. It is somehow beneficial for researchers to frame their methodology based on the objectives that they have identified. In summary, we have discussed the 4 chapters comprising your thesis proposal. Chapter 1 would be your introduction. Chapter 2 would just be your literature review. Chapter 3 would be your theoretical or conceptual framework. And Chapter 4, your methodology. The chapter and sub-chapters are interconnected, resulting to a concise and cohesive thesis manuscript. That's all for today, class. If you like this video, please hit the like button or share it, or better yet, subscribe to this channel. Till next time, bye!